Well, we all see what the Patriots are doing with that suffocating defense. Their list of opponents has not been impressive, so we have to start with the Patriots. But you've heard me picking the Browns for months now. That's a tough ask at this point. But the Ravens showed me something, and they had a bad game against the Browns a few weeks ago, have since won 3 straight. And think about where this franchise has come in a year. Last year, heading into the bye week, they were 4-5. 3-game losing streak. Joe Flacco had a severe hip injury, and everyone thought John Harbaugh was getting fired. Now they have a 3-game winning streak heading into their bye. And guys, guess what happens when they come out of their bye? They host on Sunday Night Football, November 3rd, wait for it, the New England Patriots. And over the years, a lot of us have enjoyed the way the Ravens, in all their different incarnations, play the Patriots. This is another chance for them to show something, and maybe this will seem less crazy in a couple weeks.
I imagine the Patriots a name we might hear in this segment. As I bring this to you, Jim Trotter, your favorite team right now as it stands with 1 game left in Week 7.
Look, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the New England Patriots. And look, even if they were to lose to the Ravens during the regular season, the one thing I know is that when you get an opportunity to face this Baltimore offense once, the second time you traditionally play it better because you've not seen an offense like this. As DJ mentioned earlier, we saw it last year with the Chargers when they played the Ravens in the regular season, then played them in the playoffs, fared much better. I think the Patriots right now, what do we know? Traditionally, they do not play their best football until December. So from that standpoint, they use these months to figure out what they do best, what their identity is, and then they adjust to that. I expect the same thing to happen now. Yes, they're winning. They have not played their best football. I expect that to come in the coming months.
I'm with you on that, Jim Trotter. What do you think, DJ? Your favorite team?
Well, look, the Patriots are the best team in the AFC right now. If you just want to look at point differential, I don't care who you've played. The second best point differential is plus 58 for the Baltimore Ravens. The Patriots are plus 142. So that tells you where they are right now in the season. But I'll say the Chiefs are the team that I will keep my eye on, just because if you look what the Saints were able to do, able to kind of not only just keep things under control without Drew Brees, they haven't lost a game, and everybody else on that Saints team stepped up with a quarterback injury. Now you've got Pat Mahomes injured for the Chiefs, and what do they do in that game against the Denver Broncos? All of a sudden, the defense shows up and gets 9 sacks. So they get this defense going. They're gotten healthy with Tyreek Hill back and some other weapons. Get that offensive line back healthy, and then you plop Pat Mahomes back into this offense. This is a very, very dangerous football team, and I think we're headed towards another showdown there between the Chiefs and the Patriots.
I like all those selections there. Ravens, Chiefs, Patriots, but I'm not counting out the Houston Texans just yet. Yes, they lost at Indianapolis on Sunday to fall to 4-3, but I like the way they're trying to upgrade their squad, this latest one, to try to boost the secondary, bringing Gary and Conley in from the Raiders. See how that works out for them moving forward. Okay, so that was the AFC. Let's move on to the only undefeated team in the NFC. That's the 49ers, visiting Landover, Maryland, to take on the Redskins in absolute torrential downpour here. Case Keenum handing off to Adrian Peterson. Fumbles, picked up by Julian Taylor. 49ers, we get a field goal out of it. It's 9-0 now. Final seconds, and this is the final exclamation point. It's Joey Bosa sacks Case Keenum. And the 49ers win it 9-0. They move to 6-0. Jimmy Garoppolo on the victory.
Growing up in Chicago, you play in the rain all the time in football and everything, but I haven't had one on the grass like this in a long time, so it was fun out there. I mean, just running, you're soaking wet. You know you're going to be soaking wet, so it was a good time. There wasn't a ton of adjustments. There was a couple throughout the game, but, you know, we knew what they were going to do. They wanted to crowd the box, play man. I mean, it was a sloppy game out there, so we had an idea of what they wanted to do in the second half, and I thought we took advantage of it.
Do not mess with the 49ers defense. Right now, the #1 total defense in all of football, allowing under 225 yards per game. That is insane. Second best scoring defense as well, just under 11 points a game. They've got a front 7 and 5 guys along that front line, first-round picks. Really impressive what they've been able to do up front, as we saw in this game against the Redskins. So let's take another aftermath heat check here of our favorite teams in the NFC right now with 1 game left to play in Week 7. Mike Silver, who you got in the NFC?
Well, you know I'm tempted to say the Packers after yesterday, and they are very good, but I'm going to stick with the New Orleans Saints. Coming off consecutive heartbreaks in the playoffs, the Minneapolis Miracle, and then, of course, the NFC Championship game controversy that ended up in a rule change that isn't really being enforced. And you know that story. But they could be moping. They could feel the world's against them. Drew Brees went down. They've just kept grinding and rolling. Teddy Bridgewater's doing a great job. And that defense, it's been good for a few years now. Cam Jordan's a guy who, he does get stats, but he does so many things that don't show up in the stats sheet too. His versatility on the defensive line is the key to everything, and I hope he'll get some traction for Defensive Player of the Year. If the Saints can pull this off, get Drew Brees back, and win a championship, it's just a great story for America after what they've been through.
No question. Saints sitting atop the NFC South at 6-1, but are only a game back, and Kyle Allen is undefeated as their starter thus far. So that'll be an interesting matchup when those two hit the field. Jim Trotter, who's your aftermath heat check in the NFC?
You know, I'm going to stick with Mike on this one and say the Saints from this standpoint. As he said, each year, the past 2 years, they've gone one step further. You know, you lose in Minnesota in that heartbreaking game. You come back the next year, go one step further, lose a heartbreaker. This year, I think they go one step further. Will they lose another heartbreaker? I don't know, but that one step further means they actually reach the Super Bowl. When you look at them, they play complementary football. That defense under Dennis Allen has been tremendous since Drew Brees went down. Offensively, they're going to get back a future Hall of Fame quarterback, and special teams, they get it done as well. And if the playoffs run through the Superdome, we know how tough of a place that is to win if the officials are on their job.
Cardinals going to the Superdome in Week 8. DJ, who do you like as your favorite team here in the NFC?
Well, we can talk about if the playoffs go through the Superdome. Well, right now, facts are facts. The 49ers haven't lost a football game, and it's going to go through Santa Clara. And we talk so much about this defensive front and the way they've played, and they've been dominant. But this defense is more than just this defensive front. They have explosive, fast linebackers. They're covering much better in the back end. I think a lot of us anticipated. They've yet to give up 21 points in a football game. You should put the stat up there. You know, holding teams to below 11 points a game is ridiculous. And they play that type of defense. Kyle Shanahan as the play caller. The run game, they're going to get healthier with their offensive line as we come down the stretch here, as the games get a little more difficult. I think it's a really, really good 49er football team. But